Hey everyone, and welcome to a low light test between the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the A7S3. The A7S3 has a Sigma 1.4 24mm lens. I've tried my best to try and get the sort of framing right as best as I can. I can't get it perfect because the sort of attachment I'm using on the camera in order to attach the iPhone is not the best, so it will. Okay, not sure what that was. Right, so we'll just use my car as a sort of comparison, and at the moment I've got it on auto ISO, and it was showing as 6400. Now obviously the benefit of the Sony is the fact that we can bump this right up, and I believe the Sony actually has this thing where the base ISO has got basically dual ISO, so 12,800, which is what I'm on right now, is where the picture kind of just cleans up again. So basically right now, obviously the auto ISO was kind of selecting this 6400, and if I just bump that back up to 12,800, so this is where the picture kind of just automatically cleans up. And let's just try and see what we're actually getting on 12,800, and I've kept the aperture at f1.4. shutter speed is 1/50, so I can adjust that, but obviously going for the sort of filmic look, I'm filming at 24 frames per second. I believe it should be 24 on both. 1/50, so that's back on 1/50, and this is giving you an idea in terms of just how much more light, as well as what type of light, what type of picture you end up getting. This is in the standard picture profile, so on the Sony, so I will do a few more tests just changing it to different modes. What I'll do now is I'll just switch it back to auto ISO, and let's see what it actually chooses. So that's just switched back onto auto, and I'll just see if it actually updates. Yeah, so at the moment it's selecting 3200, and yes, my car is absolutely filthy. It does need a clean. Car's coming around the corner. Now the image on the iPhone may appear more shaky than it probably would actually be, even just handheld. Main reason for that is basically, like I said, the mount I'm using connects onto the cold shoe or hot shoe mount of the camera, and unfortunately it's a plastic one, so that's actually more shaky than how I would actually hold it. I'll explain this later in the video somewhere, just explaining why that particular mount ain't the best. So the iPhone footage may appear a bit more shaky than it probably actually is, but normally obviously the iPhone's very stabilized. Focus wise, obviously I just had to, let me see if I can just pull in on this, and obviously the focus was one of the reasons why I actually switched from the GH5 to the Sony. So that's obviously sort of infinite focus there. If I just bring it down, you can see how quickly this focuses even at night. It doesn't want to return back to, there we go. So I think I may tracking cancel it. Yep. Okay, so let me just bump that manually back up again. So 12,800 is just there, and as you can see, so much more light on the Sony. Obviously I've not seen this back yet, so I don't know what the quality will be like, but on the screen of the iPhone it appears very dark. On the Sony screen, which is a lot smaller, but it does appear very, very crisp. Everything's looking really good. I will be doing a few more tests just on the actual Sony itself, the various different modes, and which mode basically is best for using in low light. I know most people like to film in S-Log3, but from my understanding, especially in low light, you don't want to be using any type of S-Log picture profile, mainly because it's probably better suited for, let me just switch this back into auto ISO. It's better suited for sort of brighter environments and pulling more dynamic range from that, whereas when it comes to shadows and trying to pull details from the dark, then it's probably not quite as good. On the iPhone, my car doesn't look too bad. I'm guessing on the Sony it actually looks a lot more filthy, more true to life, if you like. It is raining at the moment, so obviously I don't want to stand out here too much, whilst the camera and the body is weather sealed. It is still brand new, so obviously trying to be as careful with it as possible. But yeah, on the Sony, the sky almost looks red. I'm not sure whether that's a white balance issue, because I've been filming inside quite a lot. It has got a little bit of a red tinge to it, but not as bright as what the Sony is showing. The iPhone, on the other hand, is literally just showing greys and sort of almost like a blue hue to it. So that's definitely not accurate to what I'm seeing. So flaring test, they're actually about the same. So in terms of the flaring that you get on the iPhone, the Sony is almost identical, and yet the lens, obviously right now I don't actually have the lens hood on. It's starting to rain a bit more, so I think we'll call it a day at that, and let's see what we can pull out of this in post.